Activate main system engine hydrogen burn-off system. Liftoff in T-minus 10, 9, 6. Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff.
A whole wall of sound. We try to give them the illusion of a rocket launch.
It was a coincidence that we ran into this location, this fantastic pier, and it was an even bigger coincidence that it is exactly 50 years ago that the Zero Movement planned this notorious festival on this same location. But it never happened. So right now, it's a different time, different festivals, like definitely not Zero.
My film is some kind of a futurist utopia of this place after the disappearance of human from the world. A fantasy about how the nature lives in this building.
What is really nice to see is how the location influences the audience, the art pieces, the performances. It is not only just this amazing modernistic construction, it is also the elements. It's the sea, it's the sky, it's the beach.
By creating a lightweight buoyancy tension system, we can reinvent the pier and the interface between the terrestrial ecosystem and the aquatic ecosystem.
Interested in trying to make a connection with your brain waves, sound waves, your emotion and feelings, which is an invisible energy. So I'm using these frequencies, trying to show it into a physical form. So I'm wearing this brainwave sensor, and then this is sending the data in real time to my computer to modulate the sound.
Based on the poem that zero is round, zero spins, zero is white, zero is the moon. This piece is about participation and getting the audience involved. We directly reference their poem, just refining it to that one single idea and then expanding on that.
The work is really about this relationship of man with nature and how we modify the landscape. It evokes something very otherworldly. actually our thoughts about it had been more concerned with ideas of pollution and toxic waste and how we deal with things like radioactivity, etc.
Through space, you are really influencing your own experience. Sound comes from all around you. It can come from beneath, from above, from left, right, front, back. It's not just a surrounding sound system, but it's really working with space itself. So instead of listening to speakers, you're listening to presences of sound in space. We started to form a curatorial program around this that would really emphasize the role of the listener itself, the creative role of the listener, being an active part of the performance. What does spatial listening do to our consciousness? Is sound and space the same thing? And what happens in our brain and in our bodies? Trying to capture the listener in different states throughout the day. So during a subconscious state throughout the night, from very active state throughout the day, and like more receptive passive states, maybe in the evening or the morning, and really trying to find new forms of communicating with sound.
Bright collisions refers to a specific moment in time in which people from usually disconnected backgrounds gather. Start to understand our existence and how we live on this planet, on this earth.
The biggest curator actually of the whole festival is the Pier.
We had very different speakers, very different opinions, very different perspectives, but everyone is trying to understand where should we go forward and what is the continuation of all this.
Hoor je dat? Nee, daar is klaar.